new social and political groups. For the historians, the studying or knowing about these 1000 years, that is from 700 to 1700 or 1750, as being a huge challenge for the historians. Why it is a huge challenge for the historians? We have studied the ancient period in class 6, where there it was not a huge challenge for them, because they have the evidences, they are studying the archaeological evidences, they are studying about the literary records, they are studying about the religious texts. They are able to get some information, but there were no much changes happening. But when it comes to the period of 700 to 1750, there are many changes, many new discoveries happening. New castes emerged, changes in the political scenario, changing in the kingdomship. All these things occurred during this 1000 years of period. That is the reason why historians considered this period of changes as a huge challenge for them. To know every change which happened at every corner of the subcontinent has to be recorded when we are studying about the history. So let us see what are the major changes. First one, Persian wheel of invention for agriculture. Persian wheel of invention for agriculture made the agriculture more profitable. It made it more comfortable for the farmers. The second major discovery what we have is the spinning wheel in weaving. So the weaving of the clothes also became very, very comfortable and easy with the discovery of spinning wheel. And we also have the firearms discovered. Then we have the new foods, new tastes coming up during this period, like potatoes, corn, chilies, tea and coffee. So all these things are the new varieties, new set of ideas, new tastes coming in this 1000 years of period. So when the changes are occurring here, we need to understand that the transformation is going on here, one period or the other period. And why there is a lot of chance for transformation during this 1000 years period only? Why not it happened before this period? Because there is a great mobility. There is a great chance for moving of the people. The discovery of the sea routes, which brought the foreigners to our country through the sea route. So through this, many new countries people came to India or the Asian countries, looked at the immense wealth which is available in these Southeast Asian countries and got attracted to this wealth and came here. They spread their different tastes to us and they took our spices and all these things to different countries. Like this, the commodities exchange, the business transactions improved, and the mobility, the movement of the people became very, very easy when compared to the previous times. So that is one of the reasons why we have these many changes or movements happening during this period. So the changes which happened at somewhere in Persia were able to be traced in India also, because the people are moving from there to here and coming to the establishment or coming up of the new caste. The Rajputs, Rajaputra, the actual word meaning from Sanskrit is Rajaputra. The king, the son of the king, becomes the Rajput. So they started to establish their control over the periods. For many years, they worked under different monarchs and different kings as a cavalry or warriors, as a leaders of the army, commanders of the army, maintaining a small group of army, and finally they established themselves as they belong to the Kshatriya clan, and they are the warrior experts, very skilled people in the cavalry arts. So this made them to establish themselves as Kshatriyas, though initially they were not the kings or the rulers. They worked under different monarchs, but finally they were able to establish their control over the local regions. Such people are Marathas, Sikh, Jats, Ahoms, Saads, etc. So all these people started to gain control politically and coming to the militarily over the small regions of lands, and they want to establish themselves as the kings and to proclaim that they belong to the Kshatriya clans. So all these things made us to get new kings and kingdoms also emerging. And coming to the Jat, Jat is not a particular kingdom. It is a total unit of a state where Jat power varies from one area to the other areas. So every area has its own leader. The leader name is Jat. He maintains or prepares his own set of rules to be observed in his village. He maintains a small army for him, and he maintains the rules that properly implemented or not. he used to collect the taxes, and the entire unit of the Jats has a set of rules differently for every area. So the Jats are all not like kings. They are the initial commanders of that particular place. We can say like the zamindari system. The zamindars, they are responsible for that small region only, and there is no specific area which can be said that he is a ruler of so and so place. The area size varies, the power varies, the control of the region varies. So finally, Jat can be taken as one unit of a state for which administrative purpose they have divided by the monarchs or by the kings of that particular point of time. For the historians, the study of this period from 700 to 1750 was really a very tough challenge. Why it is a tough challenge? Because we need to incorporate the different changes which have occurred over this 1000 years period, and there are not one or two major changes that have occurred. There are many major changes which revolutionized everything which was present till that time. So one such things were the Persian wheel, which brought radical changes in agriculture. The second, we have the spinning wheel, and we have the firearms. Finally, we have the new foods also coming in, new tastes coming in, new country people coming in, new trade relations getting established, new clans coming in, new Kshatriya groups coming in, and we also have people fighting for their own kingdom existence, people getting attracted towards India's massive wealth. So all these things have to be discussed in this 1000 years period. And one simple thing which we need to remember is the unit of the state during the old periods is called Jati or Jat. Region and empire. We have a Sanskrit Prashasti. The Prashasti means a poem which describes about Delhi Sultanate, Ghiyasuddin Balban, who ruled from 1266 to 1287 AD. So he ruled for a period of 21 years. The Prashasti praises him, saying that he had established control over the region from Ghazni in the Afghanistan to east till the Bengal and down till south of India. So entire South India, North India, and even Pakistan, Afghanistan were under his control. That's what the Prashasti says. And they also say that in South India, the Gauda, Andhra, Kerala and Karnataka people fled away before the arrival of his army. So the historians now check this data, the Prashasti, and claim that this is an exaggerated version of his entire kingdom, because at that point of time there are so many kingdoms which are already established. The small kingdoms, some grew to establish their large empires, but could not be so stable and successful as all the others were. So one such kingdoms were Cholas, Khaljis, Tughlaqs and Mughals. So now we come to know, in the south, in the Andhra or Karnataka, Tamil or in Kerala, we have Cholas influence, we have the Khaljis influence, and in the north we have the Mughals influence. So all these cannot be traced to say that all the dynasties were very successful or all the dynasties are very poor. All did not have their pan-regionalism. Regional influences were there at that point of time. Once the Mughals started to decline, the entire empire started to get its local influences. The local rulers started to establish their control, and they started to influence the local people to follow their rule. At the same time, they were influenced by pan-regionalism. They were influenced by large empires also. While getting influenced by large empires also, they were not losing their own peculiarities or distinctive nature, having their own identity and also seceding with the existing larger empire. Like that, they started to maintain the cardinal relationships and establish their own local rulers, as well as the larger empires were in existence during this period of time. So that is one of the reasons why historians still consider this one as a massive task to describe about this medieval period of time history. And the Prashasti gives us information that Ghiyasuddin Balban was one of the undisputed rulers of that point of time, where he was able to rule a very vast empire. And we also have the rulers like Cholas, we also have the rulers like Khaljis, Tughlaqs in the down the south were having their own small kingdoms. So we get to an idea through these Prashastis or anything, that there were different rulers also present, different kingdoms were also present, along with the existence of the massive empire of Ghiyasuddin Balban or the Delhi Sultanate rulers. Old and new religions. In this 1000 periods of time, when we are exploring all the changes which have happened in the medieval period, we can find many changes which occurred when it comes to the religion. That is, major developments happened in the religion. That too, the Hinduism. We can see every person is deeply associated with God, and when it comes to deeply believing in God, it's a personal point, and when it comes to the collectively believing in God, and collectively they all believed that there is some supernatural power which is guiding us always. So these all changes or traces which we are talking now is related to Hinduism, and most important or prominent position was given to Brahmanas in this period, or the priests in this religion. And we also have the concept of declining of Brahmanas' importance emerging in 16th and 17th centuries. That is the idea of bhakti, the devotional love, the unconditional love to God, which makes us to get connected directly to the God, and we doesn't need any priest or any Brahmana to make us to get associated with God. So the idea of bhakti also emerged during this period, and we also have the new religion, Quran, that is Islam religion coming in. Many of the Islam rulers ruled us, and the educated ulemas, jurists also interpreted this in different ways to make the people to understand that God, Allah has unconditional love, and He will bless all the believers of Him or the followers of Him unconditionally. So all these new changes were also traced during this 1000 years of period. In Islam community, we also have the people, those who believe Muhammad Ali as a follower of Lord Allah, and we also have his relatives Ali, who is a real Khalifa, while Sunnis who are having a different point of view. So Shias and Sunnis, different laws emerged during this period. So like this, it has become the emergence of a new religion, and at the same time, old religion, beliefs and customs were deeply believed by some people. Some people believed it in a group, while some people questioned it. Some people brought the idea of bhakti. Some people believed the Islam religion. Some people got converted. Some people remained. And like this, the old and the new religions were present during this 1000 years period. Thinking about the time and the historical period. Now, in this 1000 years of period, we have seen many changes. Time. The time is an evidence which gives us the idea how the changes occurred in the social and the economical organizations. How the system got transformed from one period to the other period. That we come to know with the change of the time. As the calendars change, the period or the systematic systems have been got transformed and occurred into a new shape or new form, new traditions, new customs. All these we studied now. Then British. The British historians divided the Indian history into Hindu group, the Muslim period and the British period. Here, when they are dividing like this, they divided this on the basis of the Hindu rulers, based on the Muslim rulers, and based on the Britishers' arrival to India. But they forgot the basic fundamental that India is a land of diversity. We have Hindu rulers, we have Muslim rulers. We have Indians who are following Hinduism as well as Islam religion, and also Buddhism, Jainism, Zoroastrians, Parsis. So the diversity of India is completely neglected with the division of the British historians. So that is a fundamental point which we need to remember. And in this 1000 years, we also trace the evidences of early societies where the early man lived as a hunter, gatherer, early farmers. Then we have the emergence of towns. Then we have the moving people from villages to towns, establishment of the small empires, then emerging into large empires. These all we discussed. And we also have the medieval period changes coming with the religion of Hinduism, the establishment of Islam religion, the imperial states, the regional states. Then we also have the arrival of the Europeans. So all these changes can be traced with the medieval period. and it cannot be clearly specified the medieval period and the modern period, because at some point of time in the 16th century to 18th century we find certain changes happening which have the influence of modernity. So the modernity is bringing the intellectual understanding, the scientific approach towards everything, that can also be traced slightly in the end of the medieval period time. So like this, we have discovered many changes which have occurred, but still we need to study in detail. So this 1000 years of history has brought a lot of changes for us. From the 7th century, 8th century or 11th century, it is completely different to the 16th century, 17th century, 18th century. The arrival of the Britishers, the establishment of the trading companies, the establishment of the business structures, trade relations, all these transformed and made the British companies or the trading companies prosperous. That like this, we have many changes occurred during this 1000 periods of years of history. So the tracing changes through 1000 years of history is not an easy task for the historians. It is a huge task for the historians, because it has to cover many important changes which have occurred with regards to religion, with regards to ruling, with regards to kingship. So all these things, even the idea of religion, the bhakti concept also emerged during this period. So that's why it was not an easy task for the historians. It is rightly remarked as a huge task for the historians.
If you like this video, please give a thumbs up. Please subscribe to our channel to get more videos on CBSE syllabus.